It is that time again. Small Business Talk with Jerry. I'm Jerry. I'm going to have to look. You guys know because you just clicked on it. But I think this is episode 53. So we've done a few of these. Today I have Susan Routh and Tiffany Olson with me. Tiffany is co-hosting for Susan's episode here. Introduce yourself, I guess, or reintroduce.
Yeah, thanks for letting me come back. Tiffany Olson. I sit with the Small Business Referral Group with the Elder Network hat. So we're a nonprofit in the southern counties that help with the loneliness and depression aspect of aging. So it's not necessarily the medical piece, it's more about the connections, and then also we support their caregivers and giving them time away, some breaks, different things, as well as some education. So yeah, that's my volunteering part of life.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, Susan Routh.
Yeah. Well, thanks for letting me do this. This is a challenge for me. Actually, I am Susan Routh, and I'm from Waseca, Minnesota. I am a Neora brand partner. And the reason I got into the business is I was in another business and they closed. And I had been using these products for 3 years. So I thought, well, shoot, I might as well get involved. I love helping people. I love helping them feel good in their own skin. And that's my purpose in why I deal in this type of a product. So I want to help as many as I can, young or old.
Okay, well now, me personally, I have never heard of Neora. So, but I live under a rock, so that's not to be not too surprising. But tell us what is it? What is Neora?
Neora is a like a holistic skincare. They have health care. They have things to help you lose weight. We have, if you have trouble sleeping at night, we have what we call a sleep chew that helps, and that is my friend. We also have EHT, which is to help with the brain. And keep in mind, it is not FDA approved, but
it's a supplement.
If it's a supplement, exactly.
To be fair, no supplements run through the FDA. Right. So that's not necessarily a negative thing. It's if you go to your local drugstore or Walmart, Target, anything you buy in the supplement aisle, and if you look at the back of it and it says the white label says supplement facts, not nutrition facts, that means it is not FDA approved. It doesn't go through anything like that. So
you're not too far under a rock. You know a few things.
Well, I own a supplement company, so this is I do have a supplement company, so this does fall into my wheelhouse a little bit to understand what's going on. But because I catch myself on that when you say that, people look at you like you're selling snake oil. It's like no. Literally, it's so many different things that you buy. I mean, if you work out at all, even if you don't work out, if you take any kind of creatine or protein powders or anything like that. It's and you're seeing more and more of those products just on the shelves of all the retail stores that weren't there 5 years ago. So, but anything that white label where the calories are listed and the nutrients and whatnot, if it says supplement facts on the top, it is not FDA approved, any of it. And that's not like saying that's a bad thing. I'm not a huge fan of our bought and paid for FDA, but that's a whole other topic. I'll leave that alone.
The older I get, the more I'll take the snake oil.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
I think that's important that it's not FDA approved because sometimes people get confused and
absolutely.
I'm not making a claim that's not true.
No, it is good to be transparent. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But now you're starting to see that the supplement companies, these companies that are taking on this, so really realizing where the money sits, they're lobbying fairly strong. We're starting to see legislation that's truly benefiting the supplement side of things, not just these huge pharma companies, doing their true medications, things like that. It's a different, and some of it's good, some of it not so good.
You really have to do your search or research on what you are taking.
Absolutely, you do.
And that's the thing that I really appreciate about Neora. They don't just sometimes. Companies will just gold dust something to say that it's in there.
Yep.
If it's on the label, it's in there. It's not just a dusting
Mhm.
of what's in the product, which is, I like the honesty that they have.
Yeah, we run into that when we try to source things for our company. You really have to watch. Like you get a creatine product, and it'll say that it has X amount of creatine, and you'll be lucky if you can find any in it. If they don't have third party testing, it's a
Right.
big deal.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
huge deal.
Yes.
That's all the littles, the good old Flintstone vitamins with
Yeah.
iron, and then you look and you're like, no, iron that works.
Yeah.
There's not enough in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But that's all they have to do is just
Right.
throw a dusting in and be able
That's
to
right.
label it.
That's right. Yep.
So
Yeah, because again, it's not. There's no regulation to it. So as long as there's some in there, then it's not a lie.
right.
And
Exactly.
yeah, but the lobbyists are getting their 2 cents in now too, and it's starting to change some of the rules. Which again, some of that's really good, some of it not so much.
Sure.
But it's one thing that you're able to do now. Like if you're talking about if you're going to make a claim, you said that earlier. You don't want to claim something that's not true. But if I take one of your products and I say, oh, it got rid of eczema, as long as I'm willing to sign an affidavit and tell you that it took care of eczema, you can now promote that as a benefit of that product without any medical research, any medical testing. As long as you can have someone who tried it and gives a legitimate, affidavit, legal testimonial, now you can claim that it does that.
Yeah.
It's like that's the other thing. You don't with supplements like any medication. How many medications have you tried because it works for this problem you have, but then you get out and it's like, well, it doesn't work for you.
Right.
Or it works for you, but it caused this, this, and this, and so now we put you on a different one. And with supplements, that's the same thing. Just it may not work for you. It may work better for you than it did for me. So
Yeah. Or it starts as one treatment plan and turns itself into something entirely different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're right about the research and even after the fact, once you've done your research, you really have to pay attention to you because all the research. I mean, I have my stack for supplements has changed a great deal in the last year, but it's because I do blood work every 3 months, give or take. It was every month in the beginning. Now I'm down to doing it 4 times a year, but we make adjustments based on the results. And so that's so even after the research, it's a huge part, but you can't give up once you think you know what you think you know something.
Right.
Now you got to see how it affects you.
Right.
So
we always try to encourage that when they try our product, to do it for 90 days, because some people may see results, sooner.
Yeah.
But if you don't give an honest 90 days,
right,
you're not really knowing the true test.
Right. Right.
And sometimes it's hard for people to, give up that 90 days or do it for 90 days. Hey, if I look younger, I'll use it.
Yeah.
Right. So how big is this product line?
Oh, it's, I don't even know how. Okay, we have, they started with just the night cream.
Okay.
And they sold lots of that. And they just added things. And they don't add, like, okay, next month we're going to bring something out that we're working on this month. It takes them years to develop it to make sure that they have the right products or the right consistency to do what it's going to do.
Make sure it works.
Right, right.
So it's supplements and like skincare.
Skincare,
hair.
Yes, there's hair care. Yes, and I love their hair products. It's Prolistic.
Okay.
And I have eczema on the back of my head, and I'll tell you that really helps to stop that from spreading. So, and I didn't even realize it until somebody said, "Well, how's that working on your eczema?" And it's like, hey, I live to be 75, 77, and I have eczema. How does that happen? I've never had it before.
I suppose you don't look at the back of your head.
I mean, I knew it was itching like crazy. So, yeah, their hair care. They have a weight loss supplement.
So is that like a capsule or a powder?
It's actually they have the protein powder, but they have well, there's like 3 different things that you can take. And,
okay.
Oral though is what you're saying.
Right. Mm-hmm. You mix it in water or your favorite juice or whatever and take it.
Okay. Okay. Like flavored stuff, or it's not
Yeah,
flavored?
yeah.
It's okay.
Yes, they have. Okay, what I really liked is like their sleep chews, which helps. It's not going to make you groggy.
Sure.
Um, it's just going to kind of get you to that. What I do is I take it at night and then I read for a little bit, and when I start getting tired,
Then you're done.
then I'm done. Yeah.
Sure.
They also have a tea that's a nighttime tea, and it also helps with your digestive system to keep it regular.
Sure.
Yeah, I just
So your sleep chews, do you know what they are? I mean, are they like a melatonin, or are they a magnesium, or do you know?
you know, no, I
Yeah,
have to be
that's okay.
honest, I don't.
Sure.
You know what, and you can go on my website and it tells you all the ingredients.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do we go? Where do we send
Yeah.
folks to look at this?
They can go to my website, which is srouth.neora.com, and that'll go right to my website. It'll have my picture on it,
Okay.
and then you can look to.
So Routh is Routh.
Yep, just like South, only with an R.
Yeah. And Neora is just like it sounds.
ORA.
Okay. So just like it sounds. Okay.
Yep.
So Routh.
Neora.com.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, go take a look, guys, because I know, again, through my experience, some people have adverse issues with melatonin, and melatonin really isn't something a person should take every day. But that's probably, I'm assuming that's not what this is. If it's an everyday thing, it's probably more magnesium or something, or chamomile, something like that. The tea, I would assume, is a chamomile or something along that line. But yeah, folks, go check it out. See what you think. I know it's hard to replace a good night's sleep. That's
Yeah,
that's for sure.
And since I lost my husband, I just don't sleep real well at night.
I bet.
No.
I bet. So what? How did you get into it? Did you just? I mean, you said that you were using it for a few years, and when your other company closed, did you just call them? Did you just have? Do you have someone you're buying
My very
it from?
dear friend is what got me involved in
Okay.
using the product, and I'm going to be honest, it was a God thing
Yeah.
because I was in to see her on a Tuesday, and I said, I think I'll just become a brand partner because the benefits are if you get 3 customers, you get $140 worth of product every month free. And I said, it's a no-brainer.
Sure.
Because I used a lot of the products. So I signed up, and that next Tuesday I had a letter in the mail that the other company was closing.
Oh, you did this before?
Yes.
Wow.
And I thank my Lord every day for
sending you on a different path.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah. So it's a multi-level company. That's their approach, is the multi-level marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Yes.
Okay. One of the influencers that I watch. He's a big gym guy, but and he speaks poorly of MLMs all the time, and it kind of annoys me because they're not a bad thing, right?
No.
But then I'm watching one of his videos, and he says he talked about if you're a startup company, especially how to gauge success if you're a supplement company, which that of course that it piqued my interest, being a supplement company owner. Right. So I listened to him, and he said that he does like his top 3 or top 5 ways to know, and he gets down to the last one. He said the number one way to know that you have a quality product and you've made it is when you can support when people are approaching you to run your supplements as an MLM, and it works, and it does it. And I thought, no, wait a minute, this guy talks trash about multi-level marketing all the time. The whole upline downline thing, he's always talking trash about it. But then he says it, and then he starts talking about how great the MLM life is. And I thought, this is not the same guy. But his point was, when you see all these multi-level marketing on different industries, it's all about, you've got to be able to have something that costs you a nickel and you can sell for $100. It's got to have this huge margin. He always talks about how greedy and this and that. But then when he's talking about supplements, he backs it up and he says supplements are different. They're not FDA approved. They don't, and he goes through all the things we already talked about. And he said, so at the end of the day, he said, you have to sell a supplement, something that goes on your body, in your body, to your mom, to your grandma, to your aunt, to your coworker, to your neighbor, to your best friend, to your best friend's mom. And he said, you're not going to sell snake oil in a multi-level marketing scenario to your best friends, to your family, to your coworkers, to the people you see every day, the people that are near and dear to your heart. So when your supplement company makes it as an MLM, that's like the pinnacle of, now it's just a matter of when you hit it big, not if.
Yeah,
And
passionate customers that want
Right.
to have their friends and family be customers too.
Yep, and it's exactly what you said. I want to help people.
Right.
And if this didn't work, you wouldn't sell it.
No.
And so for me, that, listening to him go off on this, I thought, because we said the whole MLM thing, that was the last thing I expected to be his number one thing. But then he kind of went off, and then he said, he goes, this, looking at it through this light has really kind of changed my opinion of MLMs as a whole.
Sure.
And but yeah, he was always so negative all the time, and then but the supplement company, so it is very cool, that you want to share it with people. So that in itself tells you.
And like we talked with ingredients, I mean, a protein shake, right? There's 200 varieties, but some of it's all sugar, and yes, it may have the protein in it, but it tastes really good, and it's not doing any good for you.
Yeah.
But if you've got, like you said, a well-researched product, that actually is helpful.
And I'll be honest, there's some people that, like the tea for night for your digestive and then to help you sleep. I like it, but there's some that don't like it. But you know what?
Yep.
There's all kinds of teas that people don't like either.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just a matter of what each individual likes. We're all built differently.
Right. Well, and like you said, that 90-day, like.
Right.
Give it time to see if it works and you like it. Right?
Yeah.
My daughter and I, when it comes to sleeping things, she lives by taking a supplement and is obsessed with it. Like she, placebo or not, I'm not real sure, but it helps.
It works.
I could take it probably 3 times over and I'd still be there like staring at the ceiling, counting the sheep.
Yeah. That's why I was telling my wife, I was like, you can say it's in my head if you want. If it works, give me the sugar pill. I don't care if it's in my head or not. If I think it works and it works, I'll keep going. Yeah. That's right. But you know the difference. And like I said, I actually follow mine up with blood draws, with blood work, and not necessarily the sleep side of things, but it makes a big difference. I can really tell the difference even at the gym when I don't get enough sleep. For sure. But yeah, so so you said they have protein. They have like a protein powder.
Yes, they have a protein powder. Yes, and I have a protein that I take in the morning in my coffee. It's just a little packet, and I take that every morning. There's really no taste to it.
Nice.
If I have people in to have them a sip and sample, I put it in their coffee, and they don't even know what's in there.
Nice.
So. But
it sounds like my alley. I'm a black coffee girl only. And
all these you seem so normal. Oh my God, black coffee! Stop it. I'm just a big girl. Then I like my vanilla creamers, and I like my I used to love my sugars in it. Now I've switched. I got rid of that, and then now I've gotten onto I don't remember the name of it, but it's monk fruit, allulose, and stevia, and that is actually, and it's 0 calorie. There's no aspartame, anything in it like that. Yeah. It's all natural or natural-ish, processed natural. I don't know how that's natural, but I do like that, and it doesn't keep me up. It doesn't give me jitters. It doesn't, so.
Hey, I'm a girl that can drink a cup of coffee and go to bed and sleep. Mm-hmm. I just I know that night that we had the meeting, Craig couldn't believe that I was drinking coffee and it was nighttime. So I'm going to go home and go to bed.
Yeah. Yep.
So the wife, taste, right?
My wife, if she drinks coffee or even soda, anything with caffeine at all, after about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, she will not sleep.
Oh, wow.
Just will not. It just drives her crazy. And so, yeah, and for me, we were shopping at Target one night getting groceries after work. So it was 6:30 at night, and they have a Starbucks in there. I was like, I'm going to grab a just a coffee. I was really beat, and I just kind of but I got a decaf. I like coffee. It was January. It was 5 below when we walked through, and it was cold. I was like, I kind of had a tough day. I'm gonna grab a coffee. And she's like, a coffee? Like, they have decaf? Settle down. So we ordered the coffee. She's like, yeah, I guess I could do that too. So she orders some peppermint something and decaf. Yep. They run it through. We're looking through Target. We get all done, and she finished it. We throw them away on the way out. She says, well, I sure hope that was decaf.
Oh,
And we were joking about it. And I went to bed and just went to sleep. And we get up in the morning and she looks rough. And I was like, of course, and you can't say that to your wife. You can't tell her that she looks rough. But it's like, did you sleep all right, honey? And she's like, it was not. She was convinced it was not decaf. She was 3:30 in the morning. I was just staring at the ceiling. And I'm like, oh, I felt so bad for her. So she's like, we are not doing that again.
I'll tell you what, my best friend that I travel with, she's the one that taught me to drink the coffee. She'd have a pot of coffee ordered to our room. I go, are you nuts? Oh, you'll be able to sleep. Sure enough, I went right to sleep. So.
Yep. I've got family that, their coffee pot just literally runs until they go to bed. They'll take the last cup out of it and rinse it out and just set it up for the morning. And it's just, but I don't know how many pots of coffee they go through in a day, but it's not normal.
Well, sometimes I think too, when you have coffee late at night and you don't sleep, but you've had a lot of conversation, I sometimes think it's a conversation that keeps you awake.
Oh yeah, get your brain moving and thinking.
Right.
Yeah. I notice. For me, that's when I struggle the most. Is like with one of the businesses, if I have something coming up. If we're, I bought out partners on one of them here, about a year ago, and that was actually. And it wasn't a bad thing at all. It was a very good thing for all of us. Everybody kind of got what they wanted out of it. So it really, usually in a buyout, somebody's not happy, and that wasn't the case at all. It was just some of us saw the value. Well, I saw the value. A couple others, one other saw the value, one did not. But the one that really didn't, was kind of indifferent. She was just like, well, what are you thinking? Should we buy him out? Do you want to buy us out? Should we close the doors? What do you want to do? And we had too many chiefs and not enough Indians was what was going on. But it didn't go to the point where anybody hated anybody, And so at the end of the day, we just figured out, we came up with a valuation on the company. And like I said, I wanted to stay, one wanted to leave, and one would have done either way. It didn't really matter. So when she was helping create valuation, it was a good thing because she wasn't looking to cash out, but she wasn't trying to cheapen it so she have to pay a lot to stay in. She was really just like, well, let's just see where the numbers fall, and then I'll decide if I want to get a check or write a check. And so, and as it turned out, it worked out. She ended up with another business opportunity in the middle of this. So she was like, I think I'm going to go. All right. And so, and it's worked out really well for everybody. But like I say, that's not usually the case. But there's about 3 weeks there where, boy, sleeping was tough. And I wasn't worried about anything, but just had 100 ideas going through your head all the time, because it's like, okay, I am, 8 days away from being the sole decision maker. I don't have to ask for permission anymore. I don't have to pitch ideas. I just have to live or die by my own sword, And so far that's treated me fairly well. So I'm just like, I was excited about it. But with that, I could not lay down and just go to sleep. You lay down, also it's like, if I did this, if this happened, if we did that, we could spend a little bit here. And it's just, and then it's just, next thing you know, I'm thinking about, I've got 17 different ideas and I can't put any of them together because I try to think of them all at the same time. And you don't sleep when you do that.
No, Terrell tells me all the time I plan meetings in my sleep.
I bet you do. How many organizations are you part of?
I think oftentimes it's actual work. So my day job is in project management.
Oh.
So he's like, you were telling me about some agenda and you were rambling off like items that didn't get complete. I joke with my coworkers because we use Copilot, like a ChatGPT type of, engine that transcribes our notes and stuff for meetings. I was like, can you just please like plug Copilot into me at night, and then the things that I'm working on in my sleep, it'll just be
work.
there. Because there'll be times that I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm glad that's done. It's happened in real life.
In your sleep.
I was dreaming about that.
Oh, that's cute.
I still have to call that person.
Yeah. That's kind of how I was when I came back from training
Yeah.
in April. Honest to God, I could not sleep.
Your brain's just
My
buzzing.
brain is going, okay, now I got this list. And as we were at the meeting, I would write people down that would benefit from the product.
Sure.
And then I got home and it's like, okay, now I got to do this and I got to do that. And I was like, okay, 3 a.m, I'm still planning what I'm going to do. It's like, no.
And I can't call that person to
No.
say, you should try this product.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Mind plays tricks on you.
Yep. Yep. And I do think playing on your phone right before you go to bed is a bad idea too. I don't think that really helps us much.
I do that.
Screen time.
I play games on my phone, and that's any screen time is hard.
Yeah, it's more stimulating than relaxing. So that's always a struggle. But so where do you go from here with Neora?
Well, I have set a goal that I will make the trip this next year. And I've kind of set my goals to do, okay, last month, I got 6 clients. Okay. That gave me an extra $50 on my paycheck. So my goal this month is to have 12, and little by little, I'm getting there, but I have to do it small. Otherwise I become overwhelmed.
Sure.
And I really become overwhelmed, and God bless those that are making, the big money, but they've been in it longer.
Sure.
Or they're younger than I am. I mean, that they have a little more stamina than I do.
Sure. You bet.
And I sometimes just have to plug my ears when I hear what I'm happy for them, but that just gives me a stomach ache. It's like, why am I not doing that? Well, I'm a different person.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't want to make sales just to make sales.
Right.
I want my customers to be happy.
Yeah.
And really like what
Well, that feels more authentic. Like if I'm setting up, 25 coffee meetings every week, people are like, I don't want to go meet that lady because she's just going to sell something to me. She's not going to drink coffee with me.
Right.
Where if you're easing in and taking time with the people that you've connected with, you're feeling heard.
Yeah, and yes, I can talk, but to get up in front of somebody,
sure,
I just kind of like, what happened?
But your network is pretty big. I mean, you know a lot of people.
I do.
You do. You know a lot of people. Yeah. And it's one thing to know a lot of people. It's another thing to be liked and admired by a lot of people, which you are. I mean, I've known you for a lot of years, and that's.
I call a spade a spade.
Yeah. Well, I never wonder where I'm at. I mean, that's which that's always good, even when it's bad. Right. It's good because you should. I mean, I don't have to guess. You're not walking away from that going, I'm not sure how that went. Susan told me. I know how that went.
Yeah. I'm a twin.
Really?
Oh yeah. And we are not identical. Not at all. And Joyce tells me, you talk too much. And I said, yeah, but I do know, I like to learn where people came from. I like to know what their life is like. She wouldn't ask that question to save her soul. But when we were younger, I had to talk for her because she was so shy. If she doesn't know you, she's not going to go up and just say, hi, I'm Shirley and whatever.
Really?
No. She really gives me a bad time about, you talk this one. And I said, well, first of all, I've lived in Waseca for 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
I had my own beauty shop. Mm-hmm. I met a lot of people. I was involved in many things in the community, which I think is a great help. And they either like you or they don't.
Yeah.
Yep. But until I say, well, you say this, and I said, you know what? I am only saying what everyone else is thinking, and they don't have the guts to say it.
And then she doesn't have to say it because she's got you to do it for you.
Well, she did say to me a couple of weeks ago, it's kind of my fault that you talk so much because I made you talk for me. I said, yeah.
So does she live nearby?
Yeah, she just lives on the other. I live in the southeast part of town. She lives in the northeast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Where are you from originally?
Mountain Lake area.
Okay.
Delft was the town that we lived in. it's a speck in the road.
Let's say I've never heard of it.
You're
So,
right.
I
Yeah.
heard of Delft, but not Mountain Lake. But I don't
Well-
know if I know exactly where it is.
It's
I can't
in the
remember.
western part of the state.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wyndham.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yep, that's where we spent our first 12 years, and then we moved to Madelia and graduated from Madelia.
So what brought you to Waseca? 'Cause that's not a real big town either.
No. My first husband wasn't working, and I saw an ad in the paper for a job, and I said, "Get in the car. We're going to get you a job."
Oh.
And
It's not a job for you.
no, hey, I was working 2 jobs at that time, and I had a little baby. And I took him to the place that was hiring, and I said, "Get out and go apply." And that's how we got to Waseca. So, and I raised my kids there, so it's a nice little town.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sad, because when I moved there in the 70s, it was a beautiful downtown, and now there's hardly anything.
I bet, yeah.
Bars and banks and
Yeah.
hardware stores.
Yeah, that seems like most little towns now.
Yeah.
Well, I think sometimes your big box stores come in and kind of,
Yep.
because they can sell cheaper because
Right.
they have a bigger.
Well, and Highway 14 kind of has moved traffic a little
Right.
bit
Yeah.
differently for people.
Right. It's nice that it doesn't go through town, but I actually live between Old 14 and New 14.
Okay.
So my street intersects with those two.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's
Yeah. That is hard though. It's nice for the town when it stops going through, but like Stortville here, our main street is Highway 63.
Right.
When I was a kid, it was single lane through town, and you had parking on both sides. And then then of course, and that changed in. I mean, it was a while ago, but I mean, it was like the 90s. So I mean, it wasn't
I was gonna
like
say.
100 years ago,
yeah.
But I mean, I want to say it was in the 90s that
It
that
had to have been
changed.
because I don't remember it. And I lived in Spring Valley in 2001.
Okay. Yeah, I'd have to. I'm sure someone can put in the comments when this actually happened.
Yeah.
Someone will Google it, but
Yeah.
I want to say it was in the 90s because I was, I graduated high school in '89, and I'm pretty sure there was still parking when I was in high school.
You're the age of my son.
So a little difference. See,
Yeah,
little difference.
we were debating it.
Yes,
The age
Little
difference.
little difference.
So you got how many kids?
I have 6. I have 3 biological and then 3 stepsons,
Okay.
Nice.
and I have 17 grandkids and 5 great grandkids.
Wow.
yeah. And it's fun when we all get together.
Yes.
Mhm.
It doesn't happen very often, but yeah. My kids always said to me, I raised my 3 kids 13 years by myself.
Sure.
I said, "Mom, we were afraid of you. You were like a drill sergeant." That's right. The buck stopped here.
Yeah.
So get over it.
That's upstairs when you guys came through. We had that kind of a house full.
Mhm.
Kala is our first grandbaby.
Okay.
It's her 2nd birthday today.
Oh,
And
okay.
the other one, their next one is due next month. So
Oh.
the June 15th, so about a month from now. So then we'll have 2 grandbabies. But yeah.
Grandkids are fun.
Yeah. Oh, she's a hoot. She is so much fun.
Well, she's here every day, right? She goes
Yeah.
to
Yep.
daycare here.
Because grandma does daycare. So yeah, we were going to retire. And then Kala came along, and then it's like, well, she needed daycare. Well, I wasn't going to go anywhere but grandma's, so now grandma's like, well, I'm going to keep doing this till I don't have grandkids to watch. So fair enough.
And you know what? That comes up faster than you think.
Mhm.
My 13-year-old grandson will call me every once in a while. "Grandma, can I come and stay overnight?" Now, for a boy to want to stay at grandma's.
Yeah.
But his mom said, "Oh, he worries about you that you're all alone."
Oh,
I said, "Well,
Yeah.
he really doesn't have to. I mean,
No,
but I'll
that's
take
sweet.
it if he wants to come over.
well, yeah, I love it when he comes." So
Yep. Yep. I used to do the same thing. My grandmother used to live right by Sergeant's on 2nd, like literally a block behind him, and just a little bitty shack, just a tiny little thing. In the summertime, I'd go up and I'd stay with her for 2 or 3 days at a time, a couple times in the
Yeah.
summer, and that was
Mhm.
always nice because, but she got to the point then it's like, well, save these things that need to be done till
Oh,
Jerry
so
comes.
you can do the fixing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so as I got old enough to be able to do some of that, that was fun. I guess I should. I don't know how fun it was, but it was rewarding.
Sure.
You know,
Right,
it
right.
really it gave me a sense of when I was growing up, our entire block was little old ladies.
Oh.
Retired
Yep.
ladies, widowed ladies, and so I mowed 7 lawns. A week. And when I was young, growing up, started at about 9, 10 years old. I mean, struggled with a lawnmower the first year that I did it.
Oh,
To
I'm
be
sure.
honest, I wasn't very big, and but they were all like grandmas to me, every one of them, and they were just such sweet ladies, and it really put me on a path early to understand how rewarding it is to be able to help someone
The
and to
work
be
ethic.
and to be thankful that you're able to that you're on that side of it.
Right. Right.
Because all of us need help somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and some need a lot more than others, of course, and some really truly need it.
Right.
Right. And all of us are able to help in some fashion or another if you're not too self-absorbed, to realize it.
Right.
And
Right.
that, and when I was that young, every kid is selfish, to a point, but you just, you don't know any better.
Yeah.
And then, but when you grow up like that,
Yep.
and all these just absolutely kind-hearted, grandmas that just lined your life, it was a great way to grow up.
Yeah.
I had great parents. I don't mean to slight them at all, but
No, but it's fun. I mean, to have an older person that pays attention to you.
that outside influence.
Right.
And that's why. But to be fair, that's why I'm fat, because all the cookies and cakes, they were always making something.
Grandpa Norris, that was the portions he taught us were inappropriate. As an adult, I feel that.
Well, that's funny when you talk about portions of food. When I was in Europe,
Yeah.
they say, man, the Americans, their portions of food are so big. Well, that's our problem. That's why we're overweight.
It is.
Yep.
We don't know enough to stop.
He found out I liked to, Grandpa found out I liked baked potatoes the one day, and he made 3 then, and the tub of sour cream, and the block of butter, and the salt. Like, he just bring it up. Who's gonna eat 3? Wow, I didn't know what you'd need.
Oh, dear.
So that was, it became that every time, and the man could bake like nobody's business, but it was, the frosting on it was like this. So
Oh,
like
that's
a cake.
the best.
Yeah, it was fantastic, but there's a reason us Olsons are all plump.
My dad didn't cook much, but my mom did all the cooking, but she would spend just as much time making breakfast as she would making dinner. It was everything was a production, everything was a big meal, and she was such an amazing cook. But when it came to my mom would bake bread, she'd make homemade bread,
Oh, yeah.
and I loved that. But anything else that went in the oven, if it wasn't food, it was my dad. My dad, come Christmas, making the brownies, making the fudge, making the
Wow.
krumkake, made all the treats. He'd have it. My mom was German, my dad was Norwegian, and so the two cultures, the Christmas and holidays, were amazing. Just all the fun treats, and it was so good. And so then it was so funny because you'd have all these little old ladies on our block, and then they'd all come around, and it was just like this community service of desserts and treats and muffins and whatever, and they'd always come over, and then they'd sit and they'd talk to my mom when I was little, and then she'd just be like, she'd point, at my dad. It's like, that was Ernie. That was, he did those. Yeah. She would do the breads and the croissants and stuff like that, but anything that was sweet, that was
Did
him.
you do lefse?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
I make tons of lefse every year.
Oh, I need to move to Wasika. I used to love that. He'd make a few different kinds. He had, I don't even know what it was now, to be honest, but he did a few different types of lefse.
Really?
Yep, and which I don't remember how it went exactly, but maybe it wasn't the different lefses. I know
it was probably butter or sugar.
Yeah,
sugar.
yes, that's because my mom would eat them sweet.
Okay.
She does have to have sugar, brown sugar. She'd even use like applesauce, and where like for me it was always just put butter on it. I just need butter. I don't need anything else. And my dad would make them more kind of savory with meals.
Sure.
Well, He was Norwegian.
He was Norwegian.
Okay, that's how the Norwegians. That's why they had lefse, because they put their food in there and rolled it up, and that's how they ate it.
Yeah, he would eat it he would eat it instead of having
like a tortilla or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he would use it more like where we always had to have a bread. Well, lefse. He's like, and I say lefse's bread.
Yeah.
That was he would
Yeah.
lefse's bread.
Flour, butter, cream.
Yep. Yep. But yeah, my mom there's always the sweet stuff, the sugars and the things, and I never got into that. It was always for me. It was always and I just put butter on it. I wouldn't anything else. But Dad would eat he'd eat it more like a bread or like a sandwich. He'd make or a tortilla. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. It probably was just the one lefse, but it was always the different ways
he would put on it.
Yeah, my mom would take it and she'd put butter on it and then put jam.
Oh.
Well, she'd put sugar on it. Like we'd have company over, she'd put jam in it and homemade jam that she would make, and then she'd roll it and then cut it like pinwheel. See, I tell you, I do this all the time, banging on the microphone. But yeah, and then she would like pinwheels, and she would cut the lefse. So it'd be butter and jams, and
that's too much work.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said, yeah. No, like I say though, she treated every meal. When I'd get up for school, my dad was a mailman when I was young, and so he'd leave the house by 5 o'clock. Well, he'd be gone before I got up, and when I'd get up, I mean, she'd make a second breakfast because she'd get up for him. And then she'd come back to bed or she'd do whatever, and then when I get up, we'd get up together, and she'd make another breakfast again. So, yeah, she was such a just incredible cook, and it was all about making sure everybody was taken care of. Yeah, I mean, she was a provider to say the least.
How about lutefisk? That's
No.
Swedish and Norwegian. One's cream, one's
Lutefisk.
butter.
Yeah.
No,
that was
just the smell of it. It's bad
that was
enough.
the debate in my grandpa, my mom's side was the one was butter and the one was cream.
Cream, yeah.
And that was how you could tell who was more Norwegian, who was more Swedish coming out.
Well, I'm not even Norwegian, but I
No.
learned how to make lefse because my husband loved it.
Sure.
So I actually took a class
to
learn how to make it. The first year I made it, I sold enough lefse to buy new living room furniture.
Wow.
I mean, I was rolling every day. I mean, it's like, I don't know if I could do that now. It's, hey, when you get older, your stamina just isn't the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I still have a pretty good get up.
I say you are very active.
Yeah, well.
Very active.
When you quit being active, you're dead.
Yeah. It doesn't take long.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long.
No. So.
Well, that kind of leads into Tiff's world with Elder Network. I mean, you've got to see a vast difference. Man, I look at like Heather's grandma, for instance. She's 92, and I'm telling you right now, if she was sitting here in this room with us, you'd both look at her and go, "Yeah, she's probably late 60s, maybe 70, and she's 92." Wow. And you watch her walk up and down the stairs and grab her groceries and cook a meal, go to the bar. I mean, it just Oh yeah, I mean, there is nothing slows her down. Yeah, nothing slows her down, and she is. She doesn't hold back. I mean, I absolutely love this woman. But
that's what's kept her going.
It is. Yeah. I absolutely love this woman. She has, I mean, she'll take it to a point, but she can dish it out. It's just, I mean, she's a pistol. I love her to death. But yeah, you got to be careful. Like when she says she's picking up the tab, we were at a restaurant one night, and Heather's brother, after she said she was taking us all out to dinner, so we all just went, and we were just right at the Chinese restaurant right here in town. And then Jeremy went up and went to the bathroom, and then come out of the bathroom, went up to the front counter and paid the bill, and then came back and sat down. And like if he had done that to me, I'd be like, "You jerk!" Yeah. It's like I invite everybody out.
Right.
Leave it alone, and you just kind of leave it. And then but that'd be it. It's like I'd try to give him some money, he wouldn't take it, and that's how it would be. She was mad at him for a month.
Oh wow!
I mean, like mad at him. So it's like, yeah, she's a pistol, but yeah, I love her to death. Yeah.
My husband was one that he would send me, go grab that bill.
Well, we do that all the time. We always will you'll walk in the door, and it's like if we're the first ones there, we'll tell them, it's like, all right, you can let anybody think they're paying the bill. I don't care. but
Yeah.
you make sure that bill comes here when it's done. And it's like, or like Jeremy did, go up and sneak to the bathroom and then just wander over when no one's paying attention. And
Right.
just it's like but yeah, Grandma was not playing. Jean was not happy
He was
about
in big
that.
trouble.
Oh, and she was. I mean, and of course we all laughed at her because we thought she was just
Teasing.
yeah, she was not teasing. Laughing didn't help.
Oh no.
It did not help.
Mad.
It did not help.
Fuel on the
Good
fire.
Lord. Yeah, it really did. It really did. I just thought, but we were picking on her. And then it's just like, I look over at Heather, and the wife's like, got the old chopping at the neck, like, stop talking. This is not helping. She is not kidding.
Shoot.
Yeah, but she get over it. Like always, but yeah, it's a fun family. I got really lucky with Heather and her whole family. We all get along, and it's a good time. So
Yeah.
But so what else do you do in Nausicaa to occupy your time?
Well, I am a part of the Sheriff's Posse. I am auxiliary with the Sheriff's Posse. My husband was on the Sheriff's Posse for 45 years.
Wow. Okay.
And after he passed away, someone approached me about, helping with the auxiliary. I don't ride horse, so
I'm not going to be on the posse.
no. So I joined the posse.
Okay.
I have served as president in the Eagles. I served in the American Legion as secretary. I mean, I've done a lot of community
stuff.
Yeah.
That's great.
And that's how I get to know people. I mean,
right.
Your
network is huge. I mean, that's
yeah.
Well, it is. I mean, you know a lot of people. So
yeah.
No, that's great.
It's kind of funny because I have a sister-in-law that says to me, I think you know everybody in the world. She said, and they moved to Chicago, and she said, well, I know you're not going to know anybody here. And I did run into somebody I knew when her and I were shopping. I can't believe it. She goes, I go, well, first of all, I ran a beauty shop for 20 years.
Right.
I worked in the restaurants. I was a waitress. So you meet tons of people, and I don't talk to them just to say hi. I try to figure out what they're all about.
Yep.
I want to know where they come from.
Yep.
Yeah,
and that helps.
Service aspect.
Yeah, exactly. We had excellent businessman in town. He ran the hardware store for many years. And I always said to him, you need to open a school to teach them customer service. That man did customer service to the T. And now it's run by a chain.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And it's just not the same.
Yeah.
Because you could go in there and say, Charlie, this is what I need. He'd have it for you.
Yeah.
And customer service is the number one.
Have it for you, or be like, no, that's not what you need.
Yes.
I know you well enough that you need this instead.
You need this, yeah. Yep.
And even when I worked in the dress shop, because these young girls would come in and I'd hear the other gals, and they'd have them on, and the dress was too tight, and that looks just perfect. And then I'd go over to them and say, you're lying.
Yeah.
They would be much more comfortable in one size up, or, I don't like lying to people.
Yeah.
So like I said, I call a spade a spade.
Yep.
And like it or not, hey, if you don't like me, that's your fault.
Sure.
It's your problem.
Yep.
I'm kind of a nice person. Or I
you
try to
should
be.
like me.
Yeah.
If you don't want to.
Oh,
Yep.
shoot. Yeah. If you don't like yourself, nobody else is going to like you.
Right. So true. And I always, I try to make friends when I go places, when I, meet new people. It doesn't always work, but I think I'm on the right side of it. I try to make more friends than enemies,
Right.
But we do joke about that quite often. I'll come home and tell the wife a story of what happened, and she'll be like, they're not coming back, right? I'm aware, honey. I know. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, she loves telling me that. But I tell people too, it's like, well, I'm never gonna go out of my way to be rude to you.
Right.
But I will match your energy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll match your volume. I'll match your verbiage. I mean, you wanna get profane with me? It's like, I know those words too. Sure. I can play that game, but that's what you want to do. But you set the tone. I'll match the energy.
Right.
And it's like we can do this all day. And not everybody likes that. They just want to come in and they want to. I had one of the construction guys, they were tearing down some the buildings behind our shop this last week, and 2 weeks over the last 2 weeks. And one of the guys comes in and owns one of the companies, and he says, "Who was the one posting all the stuff on Facebook?" Well, I mean, I took videos of them tearing down the buildings. Pretty cool. Big excavators.
Yeah,
You
I
saw
saw
them.
that. Yeah.
Knock it. Pretty cool. I didn't put anything derogatory
I
out
was gonna
there.
say, it wasn't mean. It just
No,
was
it was
like
just
the activity.
Yeah.
that's exactly it. Because I'm not against those houses coming down. I don't think it's a travesty. I don't have any opinion of it. It's progress. I don't really look at it as a
You were
good
just
thing.
showing what was happening in your
Right.
neighborhood.
And he goes, "Oh, I got screamed at from, I got so much pressure on asbestos and this and that." And I'm like, well, they had an asbestos abatement team there the week prior. And the owner of the properties was in with me going, he come in from the courthouse with the papers in his hands saying, "We got all of our permits for the demolition. This is fantastic." So I didn't think we were hiding anything. I mean, I'm not hiding anything. I couldn't give two shits. I didn't, it is what it is. But I thought it was cool. I mean, watch an excavator take down a 100-year-old house, it's just kind of, it's kind of
Right.
cool. And it's a piece of history. They've been downtown for, decades and decades.
Mm-hmm.
And he came in just light me up. And I just kind of laughed at him. I was like, okay, well, anybody that walks by with a cell phone can do this, right?
Right.
I mean, I said, and by the way, one of the guys commented asbestos with a couple question marks on it. I said, even that, I replied to him and said, that was taken care of a week ago.
Yeah.
So it's like, I didn't throw anybody into the bus. I didn't put any shade on it or say someone should be looking into this. I don't think this is legit. I did nothing like that. It's like, so how about you just pack your happy ass up and you just, find the door you came in. And
I heard our pastor's sermon this morning. It was talking about how some people are just crabby.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's no matter what, they'd complain if you hung them with a new rope.
Yeah. Well, I just told him, I was like, I said, you can tone down the attitude. You're in my house. You came in my shop. This isn't yours. You've got no business here. If you're just here to yell at me, turn around, hit the door.
Yeah.
And it's like, and again, I didn't go off on the guy. I didn't go crazy. I gave him the benefit of the doubt, and I told him to settle down. And when he didn't settle down, then again, you set the tone. I'll match the energy, but you're not going to like it.
Dry says that's choosing violence. That's apparently when you're going to be crabby. You're choosing violence.
Life is too short to be crabby.
Yeah.
Seriously, I just.
Well, I feel like it takes more energy to be upset than it does to just.
But then again, maybe you just want to. Have you seen those different? There was it was like a lady running a market or something. It was a quick video, and the lady came in and something. This was the wrong size or something. You wrecked my order, and she's like, "All right, here's your money back." She's like, "Oh,
can you argue a little?"
She's like, "Well, no. Oh, you weren't here for an argument," and she's like, "Yes, please."
yeah.
So you're doing for a couple minutes.
I only argue, which is never.
Yeah. My ex-mother always harassed me about that. She says, "You're so hard to argue." And I was like, I don't argue unless I know I'm right. I mean, and even if I know I'm right about a topic, but it doesn't mean anything to me, okay, you're right. I don't care, But if it's something that affects me, that I'm trying to accomplish, or my kid or whatever, and I know I'm on the right side of it, then I'll stand up for myself. But it's like I don't. It's not about I never lose an argument. It's about I just don't argue about things I don't know about.
Right.
I'm calling BS on that. You have more than once said that you and a sister, I think, like to argue politics just to get each other wound up.
Well, we do, but that's different. That's family. That's just one person. Yeah, that's one person. That's yeah. But I still think I'm right.
And she does too.
She does too, yeah. But she's not. So, in case you're listening to this, just so you know.
You know what? Opinions are like belly buttons. Everybody has one. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yes. No, it is fun though. We can bicker liberal versus conservative, but I enjoy it with her because we can get to the point where people will stare like, "You guys, are you just gonna like wrestle? Are you guys, are you guys gonna start throwing punches at each other? What are you doing?" And then it's like, I'm hungry. Should we grab lunch? It's like, yeah, let's get some lunch. And it's, where do you want to go? And then we just
switch it off.
You just turn it off.
Yeah.
And it's like, because at the end of the day, we both know neither one of us are in a position to make real change.
Well, and neither one of you are going to talk each other into
No,
being
and we're not
on
going to,
the
right.
side. So
Yeah, we're not going to change each other's minds.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's not even about changing our minds. It's about, can you facilitate real change? I mean,
sure,
I'm not trying to tell anybody you can't do anything. Sure, the ideally, but at the end of the day, we're just here. We're one person with a belief, and at the end of the day, we're not we really don't argue about our belief. We argue about the people acting on our behalf or on our
sure,
beliefs.
sure.
Right.
She doesn't like this president. I don't like that, senator. I think this law is dumb. She thinks this law needs to be tougher. It's like, well, and I'll be like, well, that law shouldn't be there in the first place. So, and that's the kind of things we talk about,
Yeah.
is where, she thinks it should be this, or I think it should be tougher. This law, nobody enforces it. And she goes, well, it shouldn't be there anyway. That's not true. And,
Well, I'll tell you what, my husband and I we crossed each other out.
yeah.
Sure.
I understand where he came from or why he was what he was, because he grew up a farmer.
Mhm.
You know what? Let's just not talk about it.
Mm,
You think what you think is right, and I'll do my thing.
mm.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
And I'll
no.
like every second of the fact that I'm crossing your vote out.
yeah.
I'm going to vote second so that I can knock yours out.
And when he had Alzheimer's and didn't know how to, I could have voted for him.
There you go. There you go.
He goes, "No, you're not."
How long
Yeah.
did he have Alzheimer's?
I took care of him for 5 years, and when I look at things now,
You
it was
realized
early.
he had it a lot longer. Yeah.
He was very wise with his finances, and there's things that I have found now. Oh my goodness, you wouldn't believe how many tools that never had the tags taken off because he couldn't find it. So then
Sure.
he'd go buy another one,
Sure.
and
That is not a sign of Alzheimer's, just for the record.
oh,
Just for the record.
I think that's just
But
a man thing, not a.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it is when it comes to garbage cans, and when you have 25 garbage cans in
sure.
your barn,
Sure.
it's like, why do we have all these garbage cans?
Yeah.
And bless his soul. He was
Yeah.
as kind as I was so fortunate. He was not mean whatsoever. And every time I did something for him, it was thank you, Peter.
Even through the Alzheimer's.
Yep.
Really.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
you know what? There wasn't a
That's
day
great.
that went by that he didn't ask me to marry him.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Yeah. And I said, well, he could have told me to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that does
Well,
happen sometimes.
it does. I've
Yeah.
seen some very mean.
Well, and they've had it where people end up in like the care facility, and you go to visit, and then, hey, do you want to meet my girlfriend?
Yeah.
It's the wife coming to visit, and you're
Yeah.
like, wait,
Yeah.
what? Huh?
Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
don't realize that
Yeah, we had that.
that's that way.
No, we had that happen with a family member. Or it's anyway, doesn't. But yeah, that was it. She was in the care facility, and then
She got a boyfriend.
she got a boyfriend. Yeah, but she
Had a husband.
but she didn't even know it. And it's
No.
so yeah.
But then just the same, sometimes they're like, well, thank you for visiting me.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know who you are. And all right.
I think
Yep.
what was the hardest was that he did not know his own children.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be tough.
I would have to say, this is your youngest son, or
Yeah.
one time we went out to eat with them, and when they pulled out of the driveway, he said, "Who was that?" And my heart just broke,
Yeah.
because,
Mhm.
but I would say to the kids, he is your dad. No matter what, he's still the same person.
Mhm. Yeah, the
The
personality.
one son had a
Yeah.
hard time coming around,
I bet.
and the October before he passed away, my granddaughter had her quince,
Mhm.
and he had come for that. And I sat him down and I said, "I'm not scolding you. I just want to tell you, talk to your dad.
Yeah.
Talk to him about his aunts and uncles. Talk to him about when he was in the cities. He loves to talk about that because that's what he
He
remembered."
can
Sure.
remember, yeah.
And at his funeral, the son got up and talked. He said, and they did. They sat up till 5 that morning watching movies together.
Oh, that's
And well, I
fantastic.
got
Memory
up one time and I said, "Dear, are you coming to bed?" "No, we're watching movies." He goes. But I mean, everybody deals with it differently.
Right.
Yeah. My grandma was in a care facility, and she was obsessed with one of the caretakers looked a lot like my aunt's
Oh.
best friend from high school.
Okay.
So she always called her by the best friend's name, which was fine.
Yeah.
And, the lady was used to it. And then as she got further into it, my sister and I got younger in her mind.
Oh, sure.
So we were like middle school age as far as she thought. So now when Tara and I are bringing our kids, well, she loved that you're bringing these kids to come hug and snug and carry on with me. But who are you and why are you bringing these kids?
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, well, it is, it is what it is. But
my husband would say to me, "What's your name?" And I'd say, "Susan." "Hey, that's my wife's name." "Yep, that's right."
Well, don't tell her that you got another
Susan. Susan's collecting Susans now.
But yeah, he just, I really did. I had a good, even though I took care of him.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, visiting angels, oh my goodness, I brag them up. They were fantastic. And hospice was so good.
Mm-hmm.
People just need to realize that you need help.
Yeah.
I had some ladies from church that would skip church so that I could go to church.
Oh,
They'd come and sit
take
with
turns.
Yeah. And I said, people were so good to me.
Well, and that's my thing in the nonprofit space is like use all the services.
Yeah.
So in theory, like Elder Network, Family Services of Rochester, well, the like Visiting Angels and Homestead, and those are for profit. But thinking through like, are we competitors? No. If you can have Family Services provide Meals on Wheels, and you can have, they help with transportation too, where like Elder Network helps with transportation and like respite care, like you're saying, for, going to church and stuff. Have all the services so that everybody can have the most care or the most breaks or the most.
Everybody does a little bit. Nobody has to do a lot.
Right. Right.
And there's so much. I mean, it's taking care of your husband like that. I mean, that's more than just physically taking care of them. There's a lot.
There's a lot of mental burden.
Right.
And then you don't get to be partners anymore. It becomes like a parenting type thing.
Right.
What I miss the most is that we always did everything together. And I didn't want to put him through not knowing where he was at.
Sure.
But yet I felt guilty when I would go and leave him at home.
Sure.
It was kind of told. And when he passed, I didn't cry because I had grieved him for 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Slowly watched him.
I watched him. I lost him twice, really.
Right.
And he just went in peace.
Nice.
I got to pray with him. I told him that I'd be okay, and I was praying with him, and he took his last breath. So, I mean, I really did. I have nothing to complain about, although I might some days. I will blame him when something's wrong.
Yeah.
But he can't fight back anymore.
Right.
Shoot.
Well, we've been here a little over an hour.
Okay.
If anybody wants to get involved with Neora,
right?
So the website srouth.neora.com.
Correct.
Is that the best way? Is there other ways you want to?
They can text me at 507-254-9615.
Okay.
And I will answer their text.
Awesome.
And I'd like to have like a cup of coffee with them and explain to them. It's very easy to become a brand partner. You can do little or you can do a lot.
Sure.
Sure. It's just how I see it. I became a brand partner because I got $140 in free product every month.
Stuff you liked using anyway.
Well, and I was using it.
Right. Right.
And I'm telling you, the company is amazing. Right now, until the end of July, they are paying us double commission. For if we are at 10%, we get 20%. They're paying us double points for the trip.
Sure.
I've never, and I worked for other networking companies.
Sure. Yep.
Never had that. It's just like, who are these people? How do they do this?
So I mean, it's been a good experience from the quality of the products all the way to working for the company.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they take such good care of you.
Where are they based on? Is it?
Dallas.
Dallas. Okay.
Yeah. And that's where our meetings are. I guess before I got into it, they did have them in other cities, but the ones I've gone to have been in Dallas.
Okay. How old a company is it?
I think it's 12 or 14 years.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know when I say this, I'm not going to say the wrong word, but he fought for, because they were after these networking companies that they were doing things illegal or whatever. Is that the FT? I don't know. He fought somebody anyway.
Okay.
And he spent millions of his own money, and they won.
To prove that it
To
wasn't like a
prove that
Ponzi
everything
thing.
they were
It was-
doing,
Sure.
yeah, right, it wasn't illegal.
Sure.
They were paying their people correctly. You didn't have to have 1 million people under you to make big money. Oops. Sorry. Anyway, that says a lot for a company.
When you had made mention before we started that they donate to
Big Brothers, Big Sisters. In fact, this year they had some of the recipients at the meeting.
Oh, nice.
And I thought, that's really nice, because then those two young people got to speak as to how well it had done for them.
Sure.
They really do treat everybody very, very nice. And the nice part is they're all there. And
So how far do you go? I mean, I obviously you're in Waseca, you're from Waseca. I know you do our SBR group in Owatonna.
right,
So if somebody wants to get a hold of you and buy from you
we can do it online.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can do
ships.
Just ship it out.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't ship anything out. They go directly to the company. We have
Yep, they drop ship.
right, where you can be customer that has an order come and you can change it every
Oh,
month.
Sure,
monthly,
like a
yeah.
subscription.
Bi-monthly
right.
or something.
Yeah. And if you need to halt it for a month, you can go in and do that. They make it very easy for the customer. So,
Awesome.
You're just the expert as to what people
well, I'm
should
not
maybe.
an expert, but I try to be.
Well, sounds like it.
It sounds like it. Right?
Well,
What they
Awesome.
should consider purchasing.
Right,
You'd
right.
walk them through that journey.
I have one person that she's older than me. There are some people older than me. And I really wanted her to try our Neo filler because she's very wrinkled. And her thought was, I have no meat underneath it's just skin. But honey, you have no collagen in there either. And that's, I said to her, I will supply you with the product if you would just try it for 90 days to see what it does.
Yeah.
Nope, not going to do that. Now, that's a no-brainer. That's $120 out of my pocket to help her. But, some people you just can't.
Nope.
But you were saying like your grandkids use.
Yep, my granddaughter
uses
too.
it.
Yeah.
So.
And I'd love to have like young people have their moms come and listen to what the product can do. I mean, teenage years, you're going to have blemishes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But if you use the right products, that's the whole thing, that it's holistic and it's not a lot of other junk shoved in there.
Right.
Right.
So
That's the teenagers in my life.
Yeah.
You can't use the same bar of soap for your face and your butt. It's not going to
Yeah.
work out.
Hey, my own daughter won't use it. And it's like, well, whatever, that's a different story.
Right.
But the granddaughter does.
But
So
the
skip it.
granddaughter does, yeah.
That's right. It skips a generation. That's all right.
Yeah.
Well, Susan, thanks for making the drive over. I know this is a little bit of a trek for you tonight, so I appreciate that. It's
But
really good to
awesome
see
to
you.
get to meet.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
When he's
Yeah.
sitting here coming up from, I haven't gotten to go to one of the SBR sessions over there.
We've gained some.
Yeah, we've signed up a few members over the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And there's a young gal that I'm meeting with on Wednesday that she wants to help me with my business.
Oh, nice.
Fantastic.
And so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and then come this summer when we're gonna have that barbecue, hopefully we can all mingle a little more.
We'll make sure everybody in Owatonna knows about that. Close enough, and La Crosse too, close enough. Brainerd, they're up there. We'll make sure they know about it, but I wouldn't expect to see anybody from Brainerd. But
I mean, if you need me to go up to the drag races and meet them, I certainly could do
we
that
could
for
do
you.
that. We could do that.
I was
Make an
hoping-
SBR trip out of it.
I was hoping you'd do an SBR in like the Burnsville area.
Well, Jeremy Sell is a good friend of mine. He's actually in the Twin Cities area, so
Okay.
he's pushing up there. He wants to start getting
Because
something going.
a friend that's signed me up at Neora, she
Okay.
would love to get involved in a
Okay.
networking group. She works
there's
Tuesdays and Thursdays, so like she said, it'd have to be on a day that she wasn't.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity up in the Twin Cities, of
Yeah.
course. So
Yeah.
that's just it. We just gotta. The hardest thing about a big metro area like that is picking one spot to start a chapter.
Right.
Because the problem is you start talking to people you know and they're spread out.
Mhm.
Well, all of a sudden, up there, you can be in the metro area, but be 50 minutes away.
Right.
It's like I can get to you in Owatonna. I can meet you in Owatonna faster than I can meet, Jeremy if I lived in the Twin Cities trying to go somewhere
Right,
else
the
in the
other
Twin
side of
Cities.
it,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, so there's a little planning that's got to go into that. We're hoping Jeremy, may step in as like a regional manager trainer type.
Sure.
Up there.
Jeremy Preggy?
No, Jeremiah's down
Jeremiah.
here.
That's
yeah,
Jeremiah.
but it's a
yeah.
good friend of mine, Jeremy Sell. That's just a super guy and
Okay.
very energetic when it comes to it. He's got a huge network also. He knows a lot of people. So but we have a couple guys that are fired up. They were at the lacrosse meeting. They didn't join that because they're a little too far away. They're in Eau Claire, but they wanted to see what SBR was about, and they approached us after saying, "We're not here for lacrosse, but we wanted to see what it was."
Right. Get an Eau
Like,
Claire
yep.
one going.
So that Doug Giller's been working on that with them, and they keep me tagged in with or CC'd in on the emails.
Yeah.
So they're making some real headway there. So I jumped on one of the emails the other day and kind of let them know I was there. But
Claire's a good sized town. So.
yeah,
Claire?
a lot of business. Yeah, a lot of small business there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. Have an opportunity to network with somebody new. That's it. So great. Well, again, Susan, thanks for coming out.
Well, thank you for having me.
Tiff, thanks for stepping up tonight and co-hosting. I love having
Yes.
you here. So any last thoughts from either one of you?
Everybody get on Neora.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
If you want to look young,
That's right.
see, tell me how old I am, and then I'll tell you how great I look.
Perfect. Tiff, any last words?
We'll still help you 55 and plus, even if you look younger.
Perfect. Well, you ladies have a great night and a safe drive home. And would you come back and do this again?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Cool. Tiff, you too? Yeah, no.
I'm on what? Third time as a co-host?
Yep. I see.
Well, and Elder Network is coming in what next?
Oh, that's right.
Maybe Thursday.
I think it's this Thursday. Yep. So we're gonna have a house full. It sounds like.
Yes, she wanted to have my executive director as well as a couple of her advocates that work for her. So she figured that would be the best.
Okay.
Holly's been there 20, 30 years, and then Kate does like the senior advocacy thing. So she figured that'd be the best way to kind of talk about a well-rounded experience.
Well, small business talk with Jerry might be small business talk with Tiff, because I'm gonna run on microphones. You might just have to run this one.
No, I'm just gonna hang out over here.
All right, well, ladies, thank you so much.
Your whiskey bar or something in the other room.
You're missing your grandbaby.
Well, we had one yesterday and one today. It was adults and kids and things. So I got mine. I got lots of people.
She'll be here tomorrow anyway. So.
And she's here. Yeah, I'm very fortunate. I do get to see her virtually every day. So that is very cool. But awesome. Ladies, we're going to close her up. Have a great night.
Great night.